Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach Kevin. I'm your host, Kevin Thornton, life coach and best-selling author. Today, I've met this brother and a group on Facebook, and he's doing amazing things. I believe if we all do our part and helping our community become the best version of themselves, greatness is ours, and he's doing his part. And I just want to interview him, figure out his journey to where he's at right now, and what's planned for him in the future. So I want to introduce everybody to Travis Pratt. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Thanks for having me. Glad to
Thank
be here.
thank you for saying yes. Tell everybody who you are and what do you do, and how you get to this point right here, right now.
That's a great question. Kevin, had you asked me that even a couple of months ago, my response would have been different. I would have immediately gone into, I'm an actor, I'm an opera singer, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I'm saying? I'm very careful of words at this point because, what I've learned in my journey is, yes, I do all of those things, but that's not exactly who I am. You understand what I'm saying? It's like um it's what I do, it's not who I am. So if you're asking me who I am, it's like I'm a human being. I would like to say that I work hard to show up as the best version of myself, to show up to those who are important to me. I'm a brother, I'm a husband. You know what I mean? I'm a little brother I'm the baby of five siblings, and I carry that title. I'm a nephew, I'm an uncle, you know what I mean? I'm a family man, a whole bunch of things. And I tend to lean into those things as opposed to titles that we're socialized to believe are that carry more weight than who you are as a person, who you are as a human being.
Absolutely. So how'd you get? So what do you? So outside of being an opera singer and actor, how'd you get to the point of I need to do something to help us as a community get together and grow as men?
Great question. I knew you'd ask that. So, actually, Kevin, this came as an action step out of a conversation with a good friend of mine. Like, he's one of my best friends, and he's a therapist. So he's very opinionated, like me. So
Hmm.
we fight, but we're brothers and we love each other. But when I tell you, we the discussion came from us taking accountability. And his stance on that was, how are we saying? Basically, it was a situation where um, his take on it was that as black men, a lot of times I can't do this because the white man has this, and the white man is causing me, is stopping me from being able to do this, that, and the third, which I
Right.
understand. And I wasn't negating or belittling what he was saying. I was just trying to get him to also acknowledge what we've been through as a people, and what we've been through as a brotherhood is very distinctly different from anybody else.
Hmm.
I don't think the closest thing that's similar to what we've done, what we've gone through as black people in this country is, I would say, apartheid in South Africa, where you have to coexist with the oppressors. Like, they're actually there, you got to live with them, and they still have the power.
Hmm.
You understand what I mean? And so I was trying to get him to acknowledge that. That doesn't excuse us to, make babies and not take care of them, and other things that society says that we do. Some of which is true. Some of which we do need to take accountability on. You
Hmm.
understand what I mean? So I was never negating that. So the conversation ended on, okay, so what you gonna do about it?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, instead of talking about it and trying to talk to them blue in the face, I love to argue with people about stats. Oh, black on black crime, and people in Chicago are killing each other, and these are blanket stats a lot of times with no merit, that are pulled from the internet, that don't necessarily have substance or can't be substantiated. I'm a person. It's going to take more than something being on Google to convince me that it's true. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that that's not happening. Obviously, it takes place, but is it in the proportion that is being represented? When we understand that, us being oppressed is is to somebody else's benefit, right? So it was, what can we do about it? So me starting the book club came out of, it was an action step out of that conversation. What can I do about it? I wanted to affect my corner of the world, the men who I'm connected to, the people who I, can pull their ear, the coattail, to say, brother, you might want to think about this. And books have been monumental in transformative in my life. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I got into psychology and learning about the mind and you know thoughts and core beliefs and shadow work and stuff like that, and that I wasn't aware of before. And I'm a mental health advocate. Like I'm in therapy and stuff myself. So like
Okay.
that kind of started it for me. So I end up like looking even I started therapy for something different. But I end up looking into like why we believe what we believe and how it was passed down and how we what we can do about it. So that it was an action step for me to try to affect change to the community that I have influence over, the group of men who are connected to Travis.
I like that. Before I go forward, I tend to understand what your friend as a therapist is saying. I tend to lean that way as well. But I understand what you're saying as well. And I think where we at is that um the highest power is in all of us, right? So if the highest power is in all of us, we cannot give other people permission to hold us back.
For sure.
And so, because and what we have to understand too as a community is they're not trying to hold anybody back but us.
I
And
agree.
we have to understand the why. They know the greatness in us. They just don't want us to understand how great we are.
Oh, for sure.
And so I think, and so they tend to oppress the mindset of us to make it seem like we need them. No, we don't need them. They need us. And once we change that mindset and stop asking for permission to be great and just be great, things will change. And the reason why I say that is because a friend of mine, he was working do some freelance work for ESPN, and it was him, an Asian dude, and a white dude. Well, him, the Asian dude, got along super fine. And so towards the end of the time they were together, the Asian dude said, "The world will change the day that African Americans truly step into their power and realize how powerful they are. Once we realize how powerful, not to say say that we know, but when we know it and we are walking in it, things gonna change."
Okay, can I cut in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. It's funny you say you agree with my buddy. I hear you, and I'm ready to fight with you too. Um, here's my take on that, Kevin. I think it's two ways we need to look at it. What you're saying is very true. I agree with it 100%. And all over the world, other people know it. Other people are aware. And it's like we're not. But I think, and this is why I started the book club, we need to tackle why. So for us to just accept that we just should do better, it's almost like we're negating what is taking place as to why we're where we are,
That's
right?
that.
Like it's socialization. It's our parents have handed this down to us. You understand what I'm saying? No other group has gone through this in this particular way. Of course, it's easy to say, "Oh, just do better." Don't be lazy. Go make it happen. And I think people who tend to have that opinion do not have a working knowledge of psychology. I know that you do, and obviously my friend does. He's a psychologist. But what I'm saying is to our brothers who don't know that, they don't know why they think the way that they think. They don't know why they operate in the way that they operate. They don't know why they're doing things that they know aren't working. They don't know why they're continuing to do things that aren't serving them. For instance, when I was a kid, I can remember my mom distinctly saying, "Don't go up here this making embarrassment in front of these white people. But it's okay for me to act a fool in my community. It's okay for me not to be dressed up at home." And what does that say to my subconscious? They're better.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So if we have that to unmask, we have that to unpeel. And the other thing I wanted to go into is this: for brothers like you and for brothers like my friend, sometimes, if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in God, I don't know what your particular belief is, but what I'm saying is sometimes the man upstairs tapped somebody and gave you something that everybody else doesn't have. You know what I'm saying? So for me, you can look at like what I have and what I've done and where I've been and think that I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth. Nothing close to it.
Right.
Nothing close to it. I lost my parents at an early age. I lost my mom at 14. You understand what I'm saying? And when I say that to say, I didn't even have anybody making sure I went to school.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? And I'm sharing that because I'm sure somebody can probably identify, with seemingly insurmountable circumstances. But I can say this: the neighborhood that I grew up in, and I'm still, kind of close with all of those brothers. A lot of them have been locked up and a whole bunch of stuff. I grew up in the exact same situation. We all had alcoholic dads, the whole thing. And,
Mm-hmm.
and my thing is, so am I just better? Why am
No.
I different? And it wasn't that I worked harder. If I worked harder or not, something was in me to do something different. I always knew I would do what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And to my friend, it's the same thing. He'll say, "Oh, I grew up in the projects. I did this. I did that." Okay, it was something special about you because you have a brother who grew up in the same house in the same neighborhood who's not doing what you're doing. So
Right.
to me, we have a responsibility, Kevin, me and you, and my
Mm-hmm.
friend who's remaining nameless, and I'm sure he's going to watch this. We have a responsibility then to go back, and we got to go and help uh, Lil J and Shawty B and Bernard and whoever else we grew up with. I was trying not to actually name people.
Right.
And we got a responsibility to do that. So that's another reason why I started the book club. And it's like my circles now, like and this is new. When we first started, literally it's doctors and lawyers and judges and people like that on the call. People who, excuse my French, got their shit together. And my
Mm-hmm.
thing is, and yes, I want them to be on there to be able to connect and mentor and share resources with other brothers. But it's for people who didn't have that. You understand what I'm saying? It's like so for me and Kevin, I don't know how I knew it. I knew I was going to college, and
Mm-hmm.
guess what? And I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. Somebody was going to do it,
Right.
and I knew that early. And I do understand that that mindset is something I didn't ask for. It was given to me. I came to earth with it, and so that's what I'm saying. So for me to say, oh, I grew up in a neighborhood like this, and we were basically bullied and policed by the police, and harshly whatever, and all of that is true. And I pulled myself up, and I was able to go to this school and do this and do that. So you should be able to do it too. I
Right.
don't think that's fair to say. So I feel like we need to have a working knowledge of psychology, and for those of us who do, we can talk to the brothers who don't understand why they don't.
Exactly.
I just said to you, I understand how my parents contributed to white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
I know what they told me to do, and I don't think it was a conscious thing, right? I think it was something that was passed along to them. And I'm rambling, so let me complete this thought. In conclusion, I feel like for those of us who escaped a seemingly insurmountable situation, we need to realize it's nothing special about us that made us be able to do that. It's not a choice. I didn't
Right.
make a choice to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would venture to say, I would argue that it chose me. And
Right.
so, with that being said, how dare I say I did it, so you need to figure it out?
Right. So let me say
What?
that because I agree with you. So like,
Okay.
so when I say what I said, I understood both sides. I understood your side, and I understand the therapist side. I lean towards that, but I understand what you're saying as well. Because at the end of the day, everybody does not have the same journey as you and I.
Correct.
And and I agree with you. Also, it is our responsibility to step back and be able to be the vessel of light to these people and teach them, you know, the way of how they could go forward and move higher. So everything you're saying is spot on, brother. It's spot on.
Listen, it's generational, Kevin. Like, my granddads on both sides had close to 20 kids
Hmm.
on both sides. My mom's mom, my mom's dad, and my dad's dad. Close to 20 kids, both of them. And my thing is, and to me as an adult, now I'm thinking back, why would you think that that's okay? Like, bro, can you take care of 20 kids? You got that much money? like, how is this possible? Literally, 5 kids with this one, 3 kids with this one, 4 kids with this one, literally. And so
Hmm.
to me, and what I'm realizing is, oh, you can't be a man on the job because the white man is controlling it. He's paying you. So you can't boss up there. You can't boss up in the community. You don't own anything. You understand what I'm saying? What is your method of being a man? Having a whole bunch of babies, having a whole bunch of women who you can have power over,
Hmm.
and they pass it on to us and to the generation after and the generation that follow. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, so we grew up in a super toxic environment where It's like we're having extremely inappropriate conversations about things that we shouldn't even be hearing about it at 12 and 13,
Right.
or even younger than that in some cases. And my question is that in every community? And what you'll learn about me, Kevin, is I'm a huge fan of culture, and it's like I have Korean friends and Mexican friends and and Italian friends. And when I tell you, like, they come to my house, friends, because I'm interested to see how they grew up, and we share.
Mm.
You come to my house, don't put your feet on my seat. We don't do that. Black people, we don't do that. You don't have permission to just go walk in my go to my refrigerator. I'm not going to eat a banana after you. We don't do that. I understand that that's what you guys do, and that's great. But for me, and those are small, trivial things. But to me, I like to enter the mindset to see: did you grow up like me? Was your dad asking you who you were screwing at 10? As if you even know what that is? You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? And and I'm telling you, I could be wrong. I can't say conclusively that nobody else does this, but I can only speak to my experience. And when I tell you, bro, I got friends all over the world. I got friends. I've lived all over the world, and
Mm.
I nobody else talks like that.
Right.
No other community of men demeans their women the way that we do.
Hmm.
Nobody does that. Am I thinking, are we doing it because we're stupid? Are we doing it because we're less than? Are we doing it because we're not as developed? No, we've been through a whole lot. And we've got to learn how to unpack that to get to heal this trauma, to acknowledge it, and figure out how to move forward.
I completely agree. The one of the main reasons why I focus a lot on my coaching with black men is that reason. I got coached by Iyanla and her crew maybe like 13 years ago. And
Okay.
in that process, it was like over 100 black men on a conference call for 9 weeks. And so that's when I realized that there's never been a place for black men to be safe and truly say how they feel, how they grew up, and how and learn how those experiences affected them and how they are now as men. So that was that experience was God's way of making me realize this is your assignment.
I love that for you. That's
And,
good, brother.
and I had to not allow people's um limitations affect me on my journey because I'm focused on black men and they'll be like, you'll never make no money. No, just focusing on black men. But then it took my dad to say, you don't allow anybody to put their limitations on you.
That's
If
right.
if that's what he's put in your spirit to do, that's what you got to do. And he'll make a way for everything else to come and happen. And so when I started seeing these groups come about with mental health and men's group, I joined them intentionally just to see how everybody's mindset is to talk and see who God is going to lead me to help me in my journey. And use one of the first ones because you know you've been active. You reached back out to me talking about you saw the podcast with Tay and everything like that. And I said, okay, so let me look into who you are as a person. And I started seeing what she was doing. I said, okay, how can I be a service to him as well? Because I see what you're doing and it's needed because you coming from a different space of how can I help teach through
Hmm.
through books and conversation and creating brotherhood to help us become better men. And so that's what it is. So for me, I understand completely where you're coming from. And what I understand to be true too is a lot of the men that I coach come from single parent households and the father's not there and they don't know the ways of being a man at all. And so they start to look at social media and try to let them lead the way, and that's not the way. They all want to be alpha males now. And I'm like, well, you know, do you know what that entail?
That's right.
I said, you watching Kevin Samuels, but do you really know what all that entails too? I said, so why can't we just work on healing what's hurting you first, and then from there, go up there and work on being the best version of you. And I just think if if we give the guys in the group chats, in the book clubs, a chance of a permission, because even the guys, cause even what I learned too, because I post stuff on LinkedIn, right? And so a lot of those guys, like the guys that you deal with, and even those guys that are successful by means of titles and stuff, certain things resonate with them as well.
Of course, absolutely.
And so when you said that's like, okay, he's spot on because at some point, hopefully, we all can have sit down and be able to create a safe space where we give each guy permission to be vulnerable and not be um, feel like they're being soft or anything like that because they feel some kind of way or they letting their the truth about who they are come out because until we so because those things that need to be done so they can heal and or have the conversation you saying that we need to have where we're passing down bad traumas to each other generation to generation. How can we stop that? So I completely agree with you. I support you. So how did you decide on the first book that you are doing? Well, it's the
Okay.
first book for me. So
Okay. So the first book, I was trying to take a soft approach. Um, Kevin, I'm an avid reader. I average at least 3 books a month and sometimes more. I have to
okay.
discipline myself to not go so far because I got work and stuff to do. Um, I was trying to come up with something because of who I was targeting and people who I specifically asked to join. I know these guys don't read.
Right.
So I wanted something that I could find that had an audiobook. I
Hmm.
wanted something I can find where the PDF was going to be free.
Hmm.
So to be honest with you, I wish I had some deep answer as to why I chose As a Man Thinketh, which is I think is a great book. It deals with your thoughts and how your thoughts shape your life. Your thought
Hmm.
life shapes what you become. But I chose it because it's a short read. It's a very short book, and it was super accessible. So I sent out everything, a PDF. There was no excuse not to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was really the reason why I did it, and also it was something in line with what I'm trying to do. I want brothers to start thinking about what they're thinking, so they can understand why what's showing up in their life is.
Okay. So what's your next book that you want to do?
It's so funny. I don't know. I'm on the fence between a couple of different ones. There's this book by Nathan McCall that everybody is recommending. I've already ordered it. I'm gonna start reading it tomorrow. It's called. It's slipping my mind right now. To come back to me in a second. And I was thinking The Alchemist.
That's a good
It
one.
was severed. The Alchemist is a great book, but it's like these brothers. So like some of them are like, oh, we need to be reading black authors. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I'm hearing a bunch of different stuff. So I don't know what the next book is. I'll have that in the next day or so. I'm trying to figure it out. We're gonna
So
finish As a Man Thinketh this week.
so my recommendation is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill.
I'm a huge fan of Napoleon Hill. I've not read that one. Okay.
So you probably read Think and Grow Rich by him.
Oh, absolutely, for
So
sure.
Outwitting the Devil was one that he wrote in like 1931, but they didn't publish it until late because of what he was saying in the book that they thought would be controversial. And so what
Okay,
he's pretty much saying is that the devil is not a man in red tights and pitchfork. The
for
devil is
sure.
the devil is fear and negativity,
Hmm.
and he uses that through TV, music, everything to get to what he need to do get to. And so I send that to all my clients. And it was so funny because what we're going through right now in the world today, one of my clients, she texted me and she said, he wrote about this back in 1931. I said, yes. And he was like, so what we're going through right now, he have had the foresight to see that, like when he wrote that book. And
Oh, it's happening back then too.
yeah, and so she was like, okay, so it's like we really have to like. It's like I felt it because you big on. I could tell you big on mindset and everything like that. And I said that would be a great one too to help them focus on their mindset and how they see things and not look at everything from a negative perspective, but from something negative to happen to us, but not looking at it from a negative perspective. Something negative could happen to us, but it's not for us to be. It's for us to say, what do I need to learn from that situation? Not,
Yeah, not become cynical about it. I completely get it.
yeah. And
I
so
mean,
that's.
to me, it's like it's like everything else in life, man. It's like I talk to my students and friends of mine about the same thing. It's almost like making a cake. If you eat flour by itself, it's not desirable.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? You eat baking soda by itself is damn near terrible.
Right.
However, when you mix in all of the other stuff, and it's like it's positive and negative, and I think that's kind of the balance of life. You know what I'm saying? So something that you perceive as negative is happening to you, but a lot of times it pushes you to purpose. A lot of
Yeah.
times it pushes you to rock bottom can teach you lessons that the mountaintop never will. Because
Absolutely.
when you're down and out and it hurts, then you're searching for answers.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's when you got the mindset. It's like, okay, I don't like the way this feels. Let me get out of this. And everything is peachy. You might not make a change. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna check that out myself first. That's Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill's an easy read. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I can probably read that in a couple of days. So I'll spit that out, and that might be the next book, brother.
So, um, why you feel it's such a big need for us to create a brotherhood? I have my
Okay,
idea. I want to know from you.
okay. To me, it's like I think we can learn and grow from each other, and a lot of times we have situations that parallel, and you went through this in the same way. How did you deal with it? This is what I did, so on and so forth. And I think for instance, this hasn't come up in conversation in the book club. It did a little bit. There was a little shadow of it, but not a full blown out thing because I the brothers do what you're talking about because they don't have a space to be able to talk and say, this hurt my feelings when this happened, and I didn't really have anybody to talk to, this kind of thing. So that definitely becomes a part of the discussion. But it's a book club, so I'm letting people say that, but I'm driving it back. Okay, so what did the author say in chapter 3, brother? you know, so I'm driving it to make sure that that's happening. Um, but it's almost like it's like our fathers. Like for instance, I told you I was an actor, and I did Troy in Fences,
Hmm.
and I could identify with Troy so much because Troy was literally my dad, 100%. Like
Hmm.
come home on the weekend, you getting effed up, and all of that. And it's like when I had to play it myself, and I had to humanize that character. It showed me then you know, he's not drinking because he likes to drink and he doesn't care about his family. He's numbing the pain. He hates this job. He's been mistreated on this job. All of this other stuff that your dad is not going to come home and say.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And so to me, the brotherhood is of paramount importance because we can get in, we can talk about these kinds of things, and we can the healing process begins. To me, I've shared that story where I started wearing a beard. I wear a beard to honor my father because with the beard I look a spitting image of him. So people that know him be like, "Oh my, you look just like Pratt." Well, of course, you know what I mean. It's my dad or whatever. But it's like I couldn't. I wanted something else from him growing up.
Hmm.
I wanted more. I wanted what I saw white dads doing. I wanted you to come and watch me perform at the academic bowl, and I wanted you to come watch me sing or whatever else. I literally could never get any of that.
Hmm.
But I understand it. I just told you who my grandfather was. I told you he had 20 kids. My
Hmm.
dad was one of those. You know what I'm saying? So he was doing the best he could with what he had at that time, and I understand that as a man myself. Now, now I didn't get that growing up. I was angry about it. I was angry about not having what I felt like I should have had. But in conclusion, to answer your question about that, me doing that role was pivotal. It was changing for me because it was like in the interim, I was in between jobs. I had just finished doing a production in Toronto, and I came back to New York. And as an actor, if you got friends who are actors, we a lot of times like you waiting tables, you're driving for Uber, you're doing whatever until you book your next job. Okay, so for me, I'm not an Uber driver. I can't wait tables. That's not going to really work out, And it's like I wanted something stable, so I worked at a factory for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and in the factory, oh, that's Travis. He's strong. Look at him. You go carry this. Like, it made me see what my dad. That sounds like a compliment, but it's not. It's almost like I'm much more than the physicality. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, and y'all don't know who I am for real. Shit, I'm smarter than all of y'all. I probably got more education. Not probably. I'm sure I have more education than everybody in this thing. However, oh, the black man they do this. Literally, it was. Oh, you the strength. You go do this or whatever, and let Tyler go drive the forklift or whatever the case is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was able to think about. I remember my dad was covered in hives at one point because he was working at a chemical factory. He didn't talk to me about it, and I thought then, oh, he must have hated that. And I understand why he was doing what he was doing. And so to answer your question, I'm on a tangent a little bit. We share stories like that, and you understand you're not an anomaly. This is what happened to you. This happened to Kevin. This happened to Travis. So how then do we talk about? We discuss what happened. How do we heal from that, and how do we move on together? And like you talked about earlier, then you have a space to talk about it because in this we don't record it. It's no women or
Mm-hmm.
nothing like that. And when I tell you, brothers open up, and it's like then we also can learn and grow and get resources from each other. It's like it's everything from you know uh, uh, blue collar men to guys who have higher ed education degrees, and life is built on relationship, right? Very few people got to where they are based on their own merit. I like Kevin, so I'm going to give you the job. I'm finna show you the ropes, and vice versa. I like Travis, so let me try to help him do this. So that's the camaraderie, being able to share, and also to being able to network and to be able to grow from what we have as community because everybody else does it but us.
Right. Agreed. Agreed. And so, you know, one of the things I had to learn as God will prepare me for this journey is that I had to learn about my intimacy. And intimacy is not in the sense of sexual wise, but intimacy of allow myself to get close to people. And because that was the name Iyala gave me as we were working on that 9 week journey. And one of the things I realized was my father's older, so he comes from that region of, we don't say I love you, all type of stuff. So everything's like love is action to them. So action service, quality time, that's his love language, right? So then that ended up making it mine, my brothers, and my mother's the same way. So we all are the same. So I've never been that type of dude that is like real affirmative. No, I love you, brother. This and that. And he told me, in order for you to be successful at what you're going to do, you got to learn how to do that part.
Hmm.
And so I was like, so one of the things I learned was even though I show love through acts of service and quality time, you might be more of affirmation and touch or whatever. So you might need a hug or you might need to be told that you love. Those two are my weakest ones.
Hmm.
And so I was taught that that I was a selfish person in giving love. God only gave love the way I knew how to give love. So I had to learn something. I had to really push myself to once I understood how you needed love to give you love in the way that you needed it. Because if I give the
Hmm.
way I know how to do, then you're not gonna feel it. And that was a tough part of my journey because no, because once I got to that point, I realized everybody he sent to me. needed to be told that they were loved by me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every
Absolutely.
every
That's the way it works.
every dude that came to me, they needed to be told that they were loved. They came to me because I used to be in this directory, and they saw my picture, and they were like, "You look like you'd be a great dad."
Hmm.
I'm like, "Okay." So now I knowing the intent, now I have to be able to give them, but as I teach them, coach them what they need, because they're looking for they're asking for love, and I have to be able to give to them in the way that they can
That
receive.
they want to, and the way that it makes sense for them. It's,
Yeah.
it's it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because the thing about it is, even in my marriage, like for instance, one time for my wife's birthday, um, it's like, let me tell you what I wanted to do, Kevin. I'm like, oh, we're gonna get a party bus. We're gonna have all of these people, and I'm planning it. And I'm a Virgo, so it's like we planning it out. It's like
Ooh, you a
I'm a
perfectionist
Virgo. Oh, and to the detriment. That's something we can talk about next.
too.
I'm trying to down to the T. I'm even trying to plan what I want her to wear and all of this stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, I want you to sing. I want you to do this. Blah 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 blah. And me knowing who my wife is, oh, she ain't studying none of that. That was a party for Travis.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And so when it happened and when we talked about it, my feelings was hurt because it was almost like I planned all of this. I did this. What are we talking about? And I understand it now. It's like for her, it's quality time. If it's me and her, she good.
Hmm.
She don't need nobody else to be there. None of that. And it took me a while to realize that. And that brings me to my second point. That's the fantastic thing I would say um, about God. You don't get to skip steps. It's not the third grade in the school system where you don't know multiplication and they just go ahead and pass you to the fourth. Until you get that lesson, Kevin, oh, it's gonna keep happening.
Okay.
Every client that comes to you, they're gonna require it. Your kids are gonna require it. Everybody in your life is gonna require it until you get it. And when you do, then you can move forward.
It's so funny because I get it now. I get it, so it's easy for me to do. And I remember one of my homies from college. I had called to wish him for happy birthday, and it was one of the guys. We had met up for a session, and then we got us a bite to eat, and he's getting ready to leave as I was on the phone. So I told him I loved him, and he walked away. And so my boy was like, "Who you telling that you love?" I said, "Oh, one of my guys, this and that." He said, "Hold on. I've known you since you was 19. You have never, ever told me you love me." I said, "Okay, you're 51 now. I love you, brother." And he was like, "What happened?" I said, "I'm on this journey. And part of the journey is as everybody he sends me, like you said, everybody he sends to me, to help them in their journey, he's helping me as well
That's right.
because now I'm able to become more affectionate and more open to these people who need it and require it from me. And so I said, you need to thank these guys and everything that's making me do all this because if it weren't for them, I wouldn't act like this. And
That's right.
I still be the same person. So so you a Virgo, huh? Mm.
But before we do that, that's
Uh,
another reason why the brotherhood is important,
it
right?
is.
Because we can share these types of stories, and at some point you're going to connect with something somebody's saying, and then you can kind of see yourself in the mirror and know what adjustments you need to make. And also, you can shorten the learning curve for the next person. For
Absolutely.
instance, for me, I'm that loud kid. I'm not shy. I don't mind being seen. In fact, I
Mhm.
like it. I'm an artist. You understand what I'm saying? I have no. I want to be in the front. That's who I am. I've been there since I was a kid. Oh, look at me! I got this. Come watch me sing this. Come watch me play this on the piano. I've always been that type of kid. Now I'm saying that to say this. So teachers that I've had, they think, oh, Travis is arrogant. He walk in with his chest all stuck out, so on and so forth. And all it, and in the past, I've had teachers who or coaches who only criticized what I was doing and never told me, "Oh, this is good." And
Right.
And to me, I grew up in a situation like that. Um, now, one thing about my dad, now he did always tell me I was smart.
Mm-hmm.
He would always say he's smart as that motherfucker. He gonna make them A's. So he would always say that. You know what I'm saying? And so, and when I tell you, Kevin, I believed it. I
Mm-hmm.
believed it. So I went through school straight A's because I'm smart. This is who I am. That became my identity. And to this day, I believe to my core that I'm a smart human being.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized, with that, I needed affirmation in other areas that other people didn't feel like I did because of the way that I carry myself. Because the way that I walk in, it's like, oh, he already thinks he's this. He already got a big head. Don't, whatever. It was that kind of thing. And I always studied with black teachers. My acting coaches are black. My singing coaches are black. All of that. So a lot of times they come from the same background as the men we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And for me, I was trained in a culture where it was almost tear down. So it took me a while to realize, to build myself up. That was another reason why I needed to go to therapy because I started not to like to do what I know I'm put on earth to do. So I had to figure out why don't I want to practice no more? Why don't I want to sing? Why don't I want to do this? Because the love was taken away from it because I was literally searching for a good job at least once and I couldn't get it from the people who I was given the power to. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that was a lesson I needed to learn. And so to me, I don't want anybody else to go through that. So for me, anybody who younger brothers who come to me who are trying to do the same thing or who follow me for whatever reason, anytime they have a conversation with me, I let them know don't ever yield your power to anybody else ever. To
Right.
where if they're not telling you great job, you don't feel like you're doing that's what you need to build your self esteem. I told you I lost my mom early, but one of the things she would always say to me that made sense to me, probably around mid 30s, she would say to me, and she was a singer too. She would say, "Don't believe people when they say you can sing. That way, you don't have to believe them when they say you can't."
Right.
And it, and it's like, did that make sense to me at 12? No, of course not. I didn't understand. I didn't understand what that was, but now I get it. It's like if you're built on being praised when you don't have it, what happens then? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's like, for me, as a man in my 40s, and some people in their 40s still haven't got that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Still need affirmation. Still need likes on Facebook. Still need all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that has actually come up in the book club discussion about, you know, who are you without the titles? That's why if you think about it, when we first started, I realized I was giving too much power to the
Mm-hmm.
vocation. I was giving too much power to the gift or too much power to the talent. Because if you strip that away, I'm still a great person. I'm still
Absolutely.
reliable. I still
Yeah.
tell the truth. I still
Yeah.
do. I still show up and do what I'm supposed to do. So that makes me worthy alone, not if I can sing the house down or if I can act the hell out of this part. You understand what I'm saying? But before, I could not separate who Travis the person was from the artist. It took me literally to my mid 40s to get there. I
Yeah.
don't want anybody else to go through that.
I agree with you on that one. So, what's next for you with the whole plan of the book club, the brotherhood? What's next for that?
Man, I got a bunch of ideas. I was thinking in my business, in my like work, I do a lot of different things. One of the things we do is for in the school system is like we call it shop talk,
Mm-hmm.
where I bring in a licensed mental health counselor, a therapist, or a psychiatrist, and they lead the discussion. It's almost like I'm the host or whatever, but they lead the discussion, and men talk about whatever it is they got going on. So I'm thinking of venturing into barbershops to talk about whatever it is. Because people have in-depth conversations in the barbershop all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about like going in and say, we read As a Man Thinketh. And this chapter talked about how your mind is connected also to your health, and the book, the body keeps the score. If you are holding trauma somewhere, it could be in your chest. Yada, yada, yada. And just have you experienced that, and just let brothers talk and that kind of thing, and then lead that discussion into, as black men, how do we do this? How do you feel about Stephen A. Smith saying what he said about Jasmine Crockett?
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case is. And it's like, for me, it was gravely disappointing because he's a black man. So
Mm-hmm.
my thing is, you're a high profile guy. If you have a problem with the way she's delivering,
Mm-hmm.
call her and just be like, oh, you can probably get further. You can probably do that if you do this or whatever.
Right.
And she can either take it or leave it. She can eat the meat. She can spit out the bones. She can tell you, I don't care nothing about what you're saying, or she can take it or whatever. But to get on and bash her the way that he did,
Mm-hmm.
nobody else does that, brother. Kevin, who else does that? Do
Right.
Mexican men do that to their women?
And
Do
from what I
Arabs do that to their women?
know,
Do Latinos do that to their women? Nobody.
and when I saw her speak, that was her issue. She said, "You come on your on the platform and you degrade me. You could have easily called me or something like that
Oh, she
because
spoke on it.
yeah, somebody asked her. Somebody asked her. Yeah,
Okay.
she spoke on it, and she no, that was part of the issue that she had a problem with, and she feels that. But she also feels that he apologized, but she feels that he only apologized because he got all that smoke from social media. If he
Oh,
didn't
I didn't
get,
even know I apologized. Okay, cool.
he apologized, but like it's hard for her to receive it. She's going to receive it, but she really knows that if he wouldn't got all that smoke from social media, that he probably would never apologize.
Yeah, he would have rode the train on out.
He rode the train on out. But the fact that he did, she's going to accept it. But she already know what it is with him. So yeah.
Wow. But so that's what's next. You know what I mean? It's like I I want to reach out to the brothers who I feel like need it, and it's like my prayer is that I can say what needs to be said. I can post what needs to be posted in the way that it needs to be posted, so I can attract those people. You know,
Right.
I did a post in the group that we're both a part of. A lot of guys were interested in it, but I'm not saying that they don't need help too. They also need a safe space to talk about what they got going on, and it is individual healing. But my intention truly is who we are as black men, period. How we
Mm-hmm.
show up in society and what we need to do to change it. You know what I'm saying? It's like I got in an argument with a brother who was basically saying, okay, how do I word this? Karen, I'll be trying not to call people's names. Pray for me. Okay, so so check it out. So he was basically saying, I saw a lot of, and I live in New York, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw a lot of, and not that I see, and I have a business in the school system, so I see brothers walking their kids to school. I see them picking them up. I know this exists because I see it every day. I see it in the Bronx. I see it in Harlem. I see it in Queens. I see it in Brooklyn. And his immediate thought was, "Oh, they must ain't got no jobs." And my thing is hey, like first of all, you sound like a coon. Um, um, like who says that? Why is that your thought? Why is that the first line of whatever you're thinking about us? You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? And it's like, and why? Because the media says that. The media says that we don't have jobs. The media says that we don't raise our kids. The media says all of that. And of course, now the media's not pulling it out the sky. Of course, they're shining light on that area of people who are doing those things. But
Right.
it's like you just said when we first jumped on the call, a lot of brothers who take care of their kids.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them that would never get played. You think they're gonna put that on channel two?
No.
So that's our job to do it. So my thing is, I want to reach out to like those other brothers who may not have gotten to where you and I have in life.
Right.
And my thing is, how do we help pull them up so we can all figure out how? Because they got great ideas too. They can
Right.
probably say something that can help you reach the brothers like them to prepare your business. They say you ain't gonna make no money with black people. First of all, I completely disagree with that. I would argue with that. You want to know why? We're the biggest consumers. We spend all our money.
Right. But their thing was we are the biggest consumers. We don't consume and things that's going to help us. We
That's because
consume
it's not packaged well.
right. So I've lately I've been receiving the guys that's been coming to me because in this is like and actually it's more professional guys who are ready to make that change and
Same thing here.
and that healing. So they find me and they ready to do that work. I got the young guys too that look up to me as a mentor, and I work with them as well. But but it's us that's trying to stereotype ourselves and say
That's
that
right.
the men are not willing to do, but they are willing. They are willing to do it, and they're ready to do it. So so that's another reason why I joined different groups too, so people can see who I am and what I do, and then if they're ready, come see me. But how can I be a service to you in your
That's a
journey?
great question. That might be a conversation offline. I don't know off the top of my head. I do know and understand what you do, and I know that you coach. I would definitely love to have you on. Um, to talk with the guys about something. We'll have to figure out a topic that works because I'm calling it a book club, but I want to discuss the overwhelming rates that we have high blood pressure. And I want to like all of that stuff. Like, and I'm trying to come up with a name. And it's like I took one of the guys suggested King's Roundtable, which I really like the way that sounds.
I like that
And
too.
me too. And another friend of mine who's a female, I was talking to her about it, and she was like, "What about my brother's keeper?" And I like that too.
I like
So
that.
I'm kind of on the fence trying to figure out the name, but no, don't worry. I'm gonna reach out. And when I come up with something that I feel like works, um, we are definitely of like minds. I think our conversation should continue. I would like to talk with you, and obviously you're interviewing me in this, so you're asking me questions about what I'm doing.
Right.
I would like to talk to you and hear how you got to where you were. I heard who you're trained by and how you did that, but like I got a lot of questions on what led you to do what you're doing and what you're inspired by and stuff like that. And I think once we have that conversation, we'll see what points we connect on, and we'll see how we can help each other.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll figure out another day. We'll do that offline, and I'll call you,
Okay.
and we'll have that conversation because I'm I don't believe this here was an incident, an
Oh,
accident.
absolutely not.
I believe that um, God knew once you communicated with me that He knew how I was gonna operate, and like I'll say, okay, I need to know Him. Somebody I need to know. Why I need to know Him, I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. And so then listening to you talk, um, you are a lot like me in the
Hmm.
mindset and everything like that. And so it's like, okay, I can get with that. Um, you are a Virgo, which I like because some of the closest people to me are Virgos.
How you deal with them? You got a bunch of them?
Yeah, yeah. My mom,
Oh wow.
mom was a Virgo. The girl I grew up with next door to me, and we still friends to this day. She's a Virgo. My closest cousin is a Virgo, so they all are around me. So
I get it.
I understand y'all crazy. Um,
It's
but
a fact.
but with me being an Aquarius, they're more disciplined than me. So they are good at reeling me in, like they can focus. 'Cause, we're
Hmm.
air sign, and so we get it. So I
Hmm.
understand. Y'all kind of bossy. So
Listen, my friend said I can rule a small country, and they ain't lying.
so I get it. So I said, okay, I can work with him because I know I could deal with his personality, and our mindset is similar. And what you want to achieve is where I'm going. And so if we could do this, do things separately but also together, we can make it happen.
I like that. I like that.
So before I let you go, I want you to give a parting thought to the listeners.
Okay. Um, Parting thought is we all need community, right? And what I would say is, and I said this earlier in the recording, life is built on relationships. Very few people have gotten to where they are based on their own merit. Very, very few. Somebody liked somebody and they showed them favor. And if you could figure everything out on your own, why would you want to? You understand what I'm saying? It's gonna take you time. It's gonna take you bumps. It's gonna take you bruises. It's gonna take you detours. And if you can meet somebody who can tell you, Oh no, Kevin, don't go that way. Trust me, I've done that. You don't want to do that. Somebody can shorten the learning curve. Why wouldn't you take it? I think it's weird not to. So to me, is literally show yourself to be a friend, to have friends. In addition to, like I said earlier, I'm repeating myself. So for the fourth time, life is built on relationships. You got to meet people. You need people. You, no man is an island, right? So you need people to help you get to where you're trying to go. You can't get there by yourself.
Uh, and that's a good way to end it. I'm gonna end it with you by saying that's very true. One of the things, and that's one of the things that we as men got to learn how to do is create more relationships. You know, a lot of times our friends are friends that we've grown known since we kids, or
Hmm.
people we known since uh, college. We're not we're not we're not been taught how to make new friends too often.
Hmm.
And so now, what this is a great way for us to start learning how to interact with other guys and build those friendships because, like you said, we're gonna need each other to go to where we're trying to go to. So I appreciate you, sir. Um, I'll be in touch with you for sure. I'll probably text you or I'll email you sometime this week. This are you doing the book club Sunday?
I am like we're gonna finish up as a man thinketh this week, and I'm gonna
So
announce a new book by Sunday. But I think I already got it. You gave it to me earlier.
okay, so I'm gonna hop on Sunday for sure because I'll be available. So I'm gonna hop on Sunday for sure to participate, and but I also will let you know when we could probably have a phone call to so you get to know who I am and all the questions you have for me, and so we
Oh,
can go
let's do
from
it. And if you got some time this week, that'll be great. My week is much freer than it normally is.
yeah.
So yeah, so if you got some time this week, and if you
So
don't, I will make it work whenever you
if
can. But
you
this week is really good for me.
if you free Thursday, just let me know what time is best for you, and I'll make it happen.
Okay, Thursday it is then.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Peace.